are streaming from Hall of Flowers. This is Pot of Flowers podcast. We're streaming the conversations because that is fun. I'm Jay Rosenthal.
I'm Krista.
And you guys are from FIGR.
Yes, I'm Katie Booth. I'm the indoor director of cultivation and genetic strategy.
Oh, that's like a wicked important job.
What? I know, right? It's a mouthful.
It is, but it sounds very cool.
Yeah,
she touches a lot of things
cool.
in the facility for sure.
Yeah.
I'm Zach. I'm the VP of commercial with FIGR. So
you don't touch anything.
You touch nothing.
The keyboards.
Yeah.
And the phone.
Right. Yes. And tell us, for those that don't know, because we are streaming across the world, but mostly on Krista's LinkedIn page, tell us the FIGR story.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want me to kick it off?
Yes.
Yeah. So FIGR story, it started it started with Canada's Island Garden, which was just operating in the medical stream in Canada. And as legalization was approaching, the decisions were being made. Okay, let's gear up. We're gonna go recreational. And a North Carolina tobacco company actually came in and purchased Canada's Island Garden. So for the first 2 years of legalization, Canada's Island Garden was operating as a subsidiary to a North Carolina tobacco company who then got into some financial distress and ultimately decided that the cannabis game wasn't for them. They were going to pull out of it.
It's hard.
Yeah, it is. It is very challenging. We had 150 people at the facility, a lot of uncertainty and things like that, and a fantastic group from our local business community in Prince Edward Island came in and bought the company. So we got to continue operations, didn't really miss a beat all that much. And since then, over the last 2 years, we've been really kind of sharpening the blade, so to speak, rekindling a lot of our partnerships, reestablishing, I think, a lot of trust and confidence in the market, and actually just launched a rebrand where we're really kind of calling out and owning our East Coast kind of island roots. And it's fresh island grown. Yeah, absolutely. And the biggest thing that we've been sharpening the blade with is really just getting our quality down. And I know that's a kind of a cliche term that's used a lot in the space.
That's where you come in.
Yeah, absolutely. But maybe I'll turn it over to Katie to talk a little bit about some of the improvements that we've been making and the fun stuff that we have going on in the greenhouse.
Yeah, so like Zach said, quality is what we've been focusing on. So we've actually just commissioned a full HVAC and chiller system for our greenhouse. So now we're able to mimic our indoor grow in our greenhouse. We switched over from ebb and flood to drip irrigation. We started growing block on slab. So we're just tweaking our grow every day. We're tweaking our grow, but working on things like plant densities, improving our yield, our THC, just overall bud quality, and we've seen massive improvements.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So it's like micro moments that have a really big impact. And ultimately, like what we're talking about is the end user, or the customer purchasing, opening a package and seeing like reliable consistency and getting what they expected ultimately.
Yeah. So that's been the biggest goal and what we've worked towards for the last year. And I'd say everybody at FIGR is pretty proud of where we're at now. And even more so proud to be locally owned and operating just in PEI, ourselves.
Previously, we had a secondary facility, and we found, at least in our experience, the more decentralized things are, the more headaches you run into from a logistical standpoint, all those sorts of things. So bringing everything under one house has been fantastic for us over the last couple of years. And in addition to kind of quality of our existing cultivars, something that I think Katie has really mastered and done an extremely great job with, in addition to everybody at the facility, is genetic vibrancy and having that diversity with the bigger, I'll say, control that we have now in our greenhouse. Whereas before, it was really the indoors where we could churn in new cultivars and have a little bit of variety. But now being able to do that at scale in the greenhouse and have those quality markers just kind of raised across the board, it's been special for us, for sure.
Can I ask you a question about the facility? So indoor, outdoor, like indoor greenhouse, what is the relative square footage? And is that even an old question to even ask?
So indoor, 30,000 square feet.
Yeah, just over, I think.
Greenhouse is like 200.
I think it's like 320, I think.
We're not growing in the full space right now, though, but we're working to getting into the whole space, kind of converting areas as we grow. But our initial facility, the 30,000 square foot, used to be 4 flower rooms, a propagation, and a veg room. And now that's where we house all of our mothers. So we do all of our propagating indoor and move all those batches out to the greenhouse. So what's in the greenhouse is strictly just flower, And then in the indoors where all the mothers are, that's what my crew does.
Right.
Take care of the mothers, propagate. Yeah, it's a cleaner way. Like your mother plants are the most important plants in your facility when you operate like we do. That's where our clones come from. You know, and we want everything to be consistent and healthy, and best way to do that is to keep them indoor. And
can I ask you about your background?
yeah,
plants. Yeah.
Honestly, I've just worked with plants since I was like 16.
Yeah.
I owned a flower shop at one point in time. I also do floral design, and just working in greenhouses for a really long time. You what?
Yeah. It has a double meaning when you work in cannabis.
Yeah, right?
Okay, but I have a question.
Yeah.
What in your day-to-day now gets influenced by having a retail store in the past?
Having my...
Like when you had the flower store,
yeah.
What are the things or what's something that you learned from in that experience that you apply in your day-to-day now?
I don't really know.
Well, you did say like bud density, like you talked about the sort of physical
some of the
quality.
aspects, features, and benefits that you would need at the retail store to sell a product.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to understand the question.
When you sold flowers,
yes,
like you learned things about selling flowers that your customers come in there looking for something.
Yeah,
like taking those types of lessons.
Okay.
Even though you're early stage in the supply chain, like you must think about like if I was in a store, I would want to buy this.
Yeah, like what are you looking for? You know, colors, smells. But when we're sourcing out new strains, like we're looking for the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
How well is this going to grow in the environment?
Right.
Does it have those purple hues that everybody wants and those really great smells? So, yeah, I guess bringing in flowers into the store, I'm looking for pretty. What are people going to want to buy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That jar appeal, that anchor bud.
Yeah.
All those sorts of things. It's a great question for sure.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? I guess it's two. One is like, is there something special about growing in PEI that, from a like horticultural perspective, in a greenhouse? I don't know. But the other is like, you were talking about retailers across the country. Like there is a story that is an East Coast story that retailers far and wide must gravitate to.
Yeah. Well, we like to think so. Maybe I'll let you answer the first one.
I mean, we grow indoor, so indoor is indoor everywhere.
Right.
In terms of like seasonality, I would say it's probably a little bit different. You know, like we've got it's not as humid in PEI as it is in Ontario.
Right.
That's on our side for sure. I'd like to think that PEI is a fairly sunny place to be, so that helps with the light coming, you know.
There's been anecdotally people say that it's the salt in the air that really kind of gets us to an interesting, I don't know if competitive advantage is the right word, but at least a little bit competitive differentiation, right? So in terms of, you know, how we're trying to have that resonate at retail is exactly what we're doing today, right? Is launching this new rebrand, really embracing that fresh island grown. I think people think of us as friendly, kind of down to earth, humble folks, and we certainly like to think that we are as well. As I sit here talking about all the great things that we have going on.
You also have the most Canadian accent ever.
Yeah. The most island accent.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to sound like an idiot, but I just realized that fresh island grown is FIGR.
That's it. Yeah. That's what we're. That's
I can't
what
believe
we're
how dumb I
We can end
am.
it
I'm so dumb.
No, that's what we're trying to get. The message we're trying to get out today is really kind of embracing that island identity, that coastal identity, and just down to earth good people. And you know, the space is, I think, in an interesting place right now, and everyone's kind of, you know, I'll say, you know, fighting to survive and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's the good people and the relationships that are going to be the true differentiator. I mean, obviously on top of the quality and the plant, but in terms of, you know, business relationships, how people view your brand, view you as a team, I think just friendly, down to earth, just trying to be good people, right, and leave a positive mark. And when they see your number, you know, on their phone or a LinkedIn message,
They don't delete it.
They don't delete it,
Right?
right?
Or block it, even worse.
Yeah, exactly. So we hope that it will resonate, and you know, today is the first time people are seeing this, and we hope it's you know, the first step on a broader journey towards to success in the future.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
This is the best. Thank you so much.
I'm in. Yeah, thank you
guys.
so much. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate
Yeah.
hearing about it. Good luck at the show.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
we'll
Thanks
see
for
you on
having
the
us.
trade show floor.
Sounds great.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.